Connecticut is looking for jobs, so the governor convenes a meeting of the minds to find some. We'll talk about whether the economic summit found any solutions. And it comes perhaps just in time. There is growing public outrage over unemployment and corporate excess. We're going to take a look at a local group looking to change the way businesses work. And they're in, they're out. We're going to take a look at the race for the White House. Who might stay standing to face President Obama in his re-election campaign? Welcome to The Real Story. I'm Lori Perez. With the state unemployment rate at 9%, any and all ideas for creating new jobs are welcome. The governor's economic summit this past week was set up to collect and inspire suggestions. Economic experts say innovation will be a big part of Connecticut's solution for new jobs because of the strong research institutions here. For example, the governor recently announced that a new $1.1 billion Jackson lab set to go up at UConn Health Center will create a new research triangle in the Northeast and bring thousands of new jobs. Fox Connecticut's John Charlton shows us some more of the money-making ideas.
For Connecticut, don't forget your manufacturing base.
When it comes to employment, here's the bad news.
There are 21 million jobs needed to be added to the economy by the end of this decade to get back to full employment.
Here's the good news.
Seeing firsthand the capabilities here, you have a lot to build on.
And here's the bad news again.
New business is a key part of job creation, and new business starts are down 23%.
Hoping to reverse the trend, analysis of the job market and ideas on how to create new jobs in the state were the focus of the governor's economic summit at the Connecticut Convention Center.
New businesses create almost all net new jobs in the economy.
Believing that's the answer, the governor has reached out to the Startup America Partnership to make it happen. Startup Connecticut will be part of a national network of state and regional efforts to help young, innovative companies grow and thrive.
We talk about small businesses and we talk about large businesses. This is a sector that doesn't get quite the level of attention that it needs. And these young, particularly high-growth companies are the ones that drive job creation.
To help ignite innovation, Startup Connecticut plans to create a hub of regional centers designed to attract technology, concept testing, as well as funding.
We're going to do everything in our power to see Connecticut grow jobs for the first time in 22, 23 years. And this is an important step.
John Charlton, Fox Connecticut.
Our next guests have been watching the summit and will be in the thick of things at the upcoming special session on jobs. We're joined now by Senator Rob Kane and Senator Gary LeBeau. Also, Chris Keating, the Capitol Bureau Chief for the Courant. Thanks, all of you, for being here. Chris, you were at the summit. Let's start with you with how you thought it went. I mean, were there accomplishments?
Well, it was interesting. There was at least 650 people there. A couple of people came in by video link. They had a Harvard Business School professor. They had a series of breakout sessions. So a lot of ideas were kicked around. Commissioner Smith of DECD said she did think it was successful and that they did come up with a bunch of ideas for this October 26th session.
Do you all think that it was necessary? Because I'll tell you, a lot of people on the street who came up to me are like, "Why do we really need another summit? Don't we know how to create jobs? I mean, isn't it that we just disagree on how to create them?"
Well, I think it was necessary. Oz Griebel from the Metro Hartford Alliance said this was a unique situation. We've never had anything like this before. He's been asking us to do this for 10 years, to get everybody, the major leaders in business, industry, and academia, in the same room and try to get them on the same page. So, yes.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. I think the most important line in that segment that we just saw was about manufacturing, and we need to help and really support manufacturing jobs. I and my Republican colleagues just had a job forum as early as yesterday, and the big thing that came out of that is support manufacturing. So what we look to do is with manufacturing, every manufacturing job creates 3 or 4 service jobs that go along with it. So if we can get the manufacturing sector going, then I think we can get our entire economy going.
You know, I've heard that a lot, and I'm sure Chris has as well, heard even about a renaissance of manufacturing in Connecticut. I mean, is that going to be the backbone, though, of our resurgence?
I think so, because especially in my area, in the Naugatuck Valley and along that area, that corridor, there's a lot of machine shops, tool and die shops, eyelet manufacturing, and all kinds of precision manufacturing as well. It's not our grandfather's manufacturing of years ago. It's clean, they're high-paying jobs, and what happens is the service jobs that are created off of it, just the gentleman who brings the supplies, the dry cleaners down the street, the delis, the retail outlets. I mean, it can really help the entire economy, and I think it would help the entire state of Connecticut.
I wanted to ask you both about the Jackson Institute at the Yukon Health Center. I think, Senator Kane, you had some skepticism over the new hospital there, and $864 million is a lot of money. And I think you, frankly, you asked on the Senate floor, why does the state keep bailing out the Yukon Health Center? What is your position on this new Jackson Institute laboratory?
Well, I'm looking forward to look at that, because I know we're going to have this job session in the 26th, and that's going to be one of the proposals that comes through. Our caucus is intending on meeting prior to that to go through each and every bit of it. You know, listen, if it creates jobs, that's a good thing, but it's a $1.8 billion investment, I believe, in the entire project. So, my ideas, or our ideas on our side of the aisle, are not about a first 5 that the governor promoted, but a first 500. I think we should be promoting small businesses. I think we should be helping the businesses that we have here in Connecticut and not pick winners and losers.
Senator LeBeau?
Absolutely with you. I voted for that. We envisioned this happening. We didn't think it would happen this quickly. We're looking at thousands of jobs being created by Jackson. And I want to emphasize the governor's leadership on this. If we didn't take that vote, if we didn't make that happen, the Bioscience Initiative, Jackson wouldn't be coming here. So it's a simple equation. The governor took leadership. We followed with him to move that. I know some people were concerned about the speed of that, but we did take the leadership, and now and I would never have expected that we'd have this kind of a bang so soon, this kind of a payoff so soon, and neither did the governor. So we had a little bit of luck, a lot of leadership, and it worked out.
The governor also took leadership, though, on raising taxes. And last week here on The Real Story, we had the managing partner from Bloom Shapiro, who said that in their latest survey, lots of business owners say that's going to adversely affect them. I mean, how do you get your hands, or how do they get their hands around the fact that, we have this tax hike now?
Maybe Bloom Shapiro said that, but that's not what the governor found out, and that's not what I've been hearing from my businesses in my district. What I've been hearing is the things that the governor found out is that we need, and things that we can impact. Because one of the things that we heard today, and we heard it from Michael Porter from Harvard, is that we need stability. And part of getting stability in the state was to have adequate taxes. We also made cuts. The state employees also sacrificed. So all those things will lead to a stable future, which can lead to job growth. Now, what was found out was that we needed a well-trained task group of people to be hired. And we have holes in that. We can work on that. And that's part of what I see happening. And I'm sure Rob will be supporting this. What I see happening in this upcoming session. You mentioned manufacturing. Just yesterday, at the Jobs Growth Workforce, Catherine Smith, the commissioner of DECD, cited between 500 and 1,000 jobs that are currently out there going begging in aerospace manufacturing, but there aren't the adequate people to fill those jobs. And I've heard the number in manufacturing statewide, 3,000 people. So we have unemployment 9.1%, but we have 3,000 jobs. So we need to do something about that, and the governor has come up with proposals to work on that. The staff, the Republican staff and Democratic staff are working on proposals to help fill that gap.
I was just about to say I agree with probably most of what Senator LeBeau just said, except for the part on the taxes. I can't believe there's one business out there who agrees that we should have been raising taxes. $1.6 billion, the greatest tax increase in our state's history. So I would agree with the stability part, and I would agree with the opportunities that we have in manufacturing and the job training, but certainly I don't believe that raising taxes is the way to go. That's the whole reason we're seeing this stagnation to begin with.
I want to ask you on the difficulties of coming out ahead. In other words, the governor says 22 years of no net job growth. All right, for each Jackson you have coming in, Pfizer can take 1,000 jobs and leave. I wanted to ask you about the difficulty of getting ahead. In other words, not just breaking even, which the state has been doing. How does the state get ahead and not just break even?
Let me make 2 points. Manufacturing is not just it. and that is not the only place we should be looking for growth. We have existing businesses. In addition to meeting the hiring needs, we also have to, the other biggest problem, CBIA found this last year, 35 to 40% were not having access to capital. There are a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives that we hope to do in the special session to help get access to capital. That's how we get ahead. With fewer, and I'm sure Rob will agree with this, and fewer regulations and streamlining regulations. That's also part of the governor's proposal. So I think we're going to try to get ahead, but we also have to spur new businesses, Chris. I mean, that is part of what has to happen. We just can't, we want to maintain our financial businesses, banks, manufacturing, aerospace. We need to help maintain those, but we also have to spur the creation of new businesses, and that means trickle down or spurring that from our universities, from businesses that currently exist, taking patents and growing that are on the shelf, taking them off the shelf and growing them into new businesses. The Center for Entrepreneurship in East Hartford at the Connecticut Center for Advanced Technologies, we need to do things like that to help grow new businesses. That's how we'll get ahead.
We're going to let Senator Kane take a minute to answer, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yeah, I just want to say, I agree with Chris's question. He's right. The day that the governor announced Cigna, 200 jobs, Unilever announced 184 were leaving. So that was a net gain of 16 jobs for $70 million. So I think the big thing is not to pick winners and losers, but to spread. If we're going to put money into this type of thing, we need to spread it out to 500 companies, not 5 companies. And I think that's the big difference.
Okay, thanks both of you for stopping by, and we'll look forward to your thoughts during the job session that's coming up on the 26th. Thanks a lot for both of you.
Thank you, Laura.
Chris is going to stick around as we talk about the push for change that is growing in Connecticut. We're going to talk with a group that is advancing the ideas of social enterprising.